Hello students, welcome to the course Electricity and Magnetism for FYBSc Physics, Paper 2, Semester 2. So we are studying our fourth chapter, Magnetostatics. In this lecture, we will study the introduction to magnetism, magnetization, magnetic induction and magnetic field intensity. So magnetostatics is the study of magnetic fields in system where the currents are steady, that is they are not changing with time. It is the magnetic analog of electrostatics where the charges are stationary. So in the first chapter we have studied the electrostatics which deals with the electric fields, right? So here we have magnetostatics where the magnetic fields, where we will study the magnetic fields in systems where the currents are steady, that means where the charges are stationary. So magnetostatics is a branch of electromagnetic studies involving magnetic fields produced by steady non-time varying currents. So many a times we have seen various kinds of magnets. So this is bar magnet, this is horseshoe magnet, and this is magnetic force due to a solenoid. So this is a solenoid, right? A coil carrying current. So it produces a magnetic field. So this magnetic field we observe in terms of magnetic lines of force. It is an imaginary line representing the direction of magnetic field such that the tangent at that point is the direction of the field vector at that point, right? So it is at a particular point the magnetic lines of force represents the direction of magnetic field at that point, right? So the tangent drawn at that point gives us the direction of the field vector at that point. So we have the magnetic lines of force. So we know the magnetic lines of force starts from the north pole and they end on south pole, right? So let us see what is meant by magnetization. In classical electromagnetism, magnetization is the vector that represents the density of permanent or induced magnetic dipole moments in a magnetic material. So the movement within the field is described by direction and is either axial or diametric. The origin of magnetic moments responsible for magnetization can be either microscopic electric currents resulting from a motion of electrons in atoms or the spin of the electrons or the nuclei. So the net magnetization results from the response of the material to an external magnetic field. So how the material responds to the external magnetic field, that response gives us the net magnetization, right? So paramagnetic materials have a weak induced magnetization in a magnetic field which disappears when the magnetic field is removed. So in the previous chapter we have studied different types of magnetic materials. So we have studied the paramagnetic materials where they have the weak induced magnetization in the magnetic field. This magnetization will disappear when the magnetic field is removed, and such materials are called as paramagnetic materials. So we have also studied the ferromagnet and perimagnetic materials. They have strong magnetization in a magnetic field and they can be magnetized to have magnetization in the absence of external field. So when the magnetic field is applied to such materials, they become magnetized and their magnetization is greater than that of the paramagnetic materials. That means they have the strong magnetization, and when we remove the magnetic field, external magnetic field, in that case they can retain their magnetic field and they can become the magnets. So magnetization is not necessarily uniform within a material but may vary between different points, right? So the magnetization also describes how the material responds to an applied magnetic field as well as the way the material changes the magnetic field and can be used to calculate the forces that result from those interactions. So basically the magnetization means how the material get magnetized, or how it responds to the external applied magnetic field, and that response is called as magnetization. So it can be compared to the electric polarization, which is the measure of corresponding response of a material to an electric field in electrostatics. So we know that any magnetic material consists of magnetic dipole moments. So these dipole moments are randomly oriented in the absence of external magnetic field, and therefore net magnetization of the material is zero, because the dipole moments, they are randomly oriented, and the net magnetization is zero because all the magnetic moments, they cancel each other. But when the external magnetic field is applied in a particular direction, most of the magnetic moments, they try to align in the direction of the magnetic field, and the material get magnetized. So it achieves the magnetization in the direction of the external or applied magnetic field, and that magnetization is proportional to the strength of the external field. That means when the strength of the external field is increased, the magnetization will also increase in the material. So what is meant by magnetization? So it is the magnetic dipole moments per unit volume in a material. The term magnetization means the process of converting non-magnetic material to magnetic material. When some amount of external magnetic field is applied to the metals such as iron, steel and alloys, etc., they are magnetized to different degrees. The intensity of magnetization M is the measure of magnetization of a magnetized specimen. It is defined as the magnetic dipole moments per unit volume. So M is equal to small m vector upon V, where the small m is the magnetic dipole moment and the unit of magnetization is ampere per meter, right? So we get the magnetization M vector is equal to dipole moment per unit volume, right? So the magnetization or magnetic polarization is the vector field that expresses the density of permanent or induced magnetic dipole moments in a magnetic material. The origin of magnetic moments responsible for magnetization can be either microscopic electric currents resulting from the motion of electrons in atoms, or the spin of the electrons or nuclei. The net magnetization results from the response of a material to an external magnetic field, and therefore in the presence of external magnetic field, the magnetic moments or dipole moments will be developed in the material, and these magnetic dipole moments, they will try to align in the direction of external applied magnetic field. A magnetic field is a mathematical description of magnetic influence of electric currents and magnetic materials. The magnetic field can be experienced in the space around a magnet or a current carrying conductor. Therefore, the magnetic field is expressed in terms of a quantity called as magnetic induction. So, magnetic induction is a vector and it is denoted by B vector. In analogy with the electric field, the magnetic induction can be defined in terms of lines of induction. The number of lines of induction passing through a unit area placed normal to the lines measure the magnitude of magnetic induction or magnetic flux density or strength of magnetic field B vector, right? So the magnetic lines of force or the magnetic lines of induction, they are passing through a unit area placed normal to the lines measures the magnitude of magnetic induction or magnetic flux density or strength of the magnetic field B vector. Thus the number of lines of induction per unit area measures the strength of the magnetic field or density of the magnetic flux, right? The tangent to the line of induction at any point gives the direction of magnetic induction B vector at that point. The lines of induction simply represent graphically how B vector varies throughout a certain region of space. In analogy with the flux of electric field, the magnetic flux phi v through a surface S can be defined as phi v is equal to integral over v vector dot ds vector, in which the surface integral is taken over the entire surface. Hence, b vector represents the magnetic field vector, that is magnetic induction at a point in the magnetic field, and ds vector and an infinitesimal area surrounding that point. Thus, the magnetic flux through any surface S vector is the total number of lines of induction passing through the entire surface S vector. Alternatively, we can define the magnetic induction in terms of magnetic force it exerts on moving electrical charges. Right? So, that definition we have to see here. So, suppose a charge Q is moving with a velocity v in a magnetic field of strength v vector, making an angle theta with the direction of the field. Right? So, here the charge Q is moving with velocity v in a magnetic field of strength b vector, and it makes an angle theta with the direction of b vector. Let us suppose b vector is in this direction as shown and velocity is in this direction. That means the charge is moving with velocity v in a direction making an angle theta with the direction of the field. So, the experimental observations show that the magnetic force Fm vector acting on a moving charge is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge, that is Q, right? So, it's also directly proportional to the strength of the magnetic field v vector. It is also directly proportional to the component of velocity perpendicular to the magnetic field, and thus we can write Fm is directly proportional to Q b v sin theta. So, where Q is the charge, right? B is the magnitude of the magnetic field strength, and v sin theta is the component of the velocity perpendicular to the b. This component we have shown in this figure by v perpendicular vector, right? So, it is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, and this component is called as v sin theta. Now, Fm is equal to k into q b v sin theta, where k is a constant of proportionality which depends on the system of units used. In SI units, k is equal to 1, and therefore the magnetic force is given by Fm is equal to q into v into b sin theta. So, in vector form, Fm vector is equal to q into v cross b vector. This is called as the Lorentz force. So, the Lorentz force will be the force experienced by the positive charge moving in the external magnetic field. So, the force experienced by the electrical charge moving in an external magnetic field is called as Lorentz force. So, if the charge is moving in the direction parallel to the direction of magnetic field, then the net force experienced by the charge is 0. If the charge is moving in the direction parallel to the direction of the force, in that case the force experienced by the charge is 0. If the charge is moving in a direction making an angle theta with the direction of b vector, in that case we can write the force experienced by the charge is equal to Fm vector is equal to q into v cross b vector. And if the charge is moving in the direction perpendicular to the direction of b vector, in that case the force experienced by the charge will be maximum, and that its magnitude will be given by QVB, right? So, here the angle will be 90 degree and we know that sine 90 is equal to 1, and therefore we get QVP as the magnitude of maximum force experienced by the charge. So the Lorentz force is the force experienced by a positive charge when moving in the external magnetic field. When the charge is moving in the direction parallel to the external magnetic field, in that case the force experienced by the charge is equal to 0, right? But when the charge is moving in a direction making an angle theta with the direction of external magnetic field, in that case the net force experienced by the charge is equal to Fm vector is equal to Q into V cross B vector. And if this charge is moving in a direction perpendicular to the direction of B vector, in that case the force experienced by the charge will be maximum, and that maximum force is given by QV into B, right? So the magnitude of force will be given by QV into B, which is the maximum force experienced by the charge. So we can define the magnetic field in terms of Lorentz force as Fm is equal to Q BV sin theta, that is B is equal to Fm upon QV sin theta. And since if sin theta is equal to 1, that is theta is equal to 90 degree and V is equal to 1 meters per second, then we get B is equal to Fm upon Q. Thus the magnetic induction or magnetic field or magnetic flux density at any point may be defined as the magnetic force per unit charge at that point when charge moves with unit velocity perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. The unit of magnetic induction B is evidently 1 Newton second per coulomb meter. The same unit is also 1 volt second per meter square. It is also called 1 Weber per meter square or Tesla. So SI unit we generally use Weber per meter square or Tesla. Let us now move to the magnetic intensity H vector. When a magnetic material is placed in a magnetic field, it becomes magnetized. The capability of the magnetic field to magnetize a material is expressed by means of the magnetic vector H vector called the magnetic intensity of the field. Hence, it is defined as the magnetic moment per unit volume. So, it is given by the formula H vector is equal to B vector upon mu 0 minus M, where B vector is resultant magnetic field and M is intensity of magnetization or magnetization, and mu 0 is the permeability of the free space. So, H is called as magnetic intensity or magnetic field intensity. The unit of H vector is same as that of the magnetization M, which is ampere per meter. If no material is present, that is in vacuum, M is equal to 0, and therefore we get H vector is equal to B vector upon mu 0. For example, the magnetic field at the center of long solenoid having n turns per unit length carrying current I, when no material is kept in it, in that case B vector is equal to mu 0 Ni. Hence magnetic intensity in that case will be equal to H vector is equal to B vector upon mu 0 is equal to N into I, where N is the number of turns and I is the current. Right. So in summary, we have learned about the magnetization M. So it is the magnetic dipole moments per unit volume. Magnetic induction B vector, which is the force experienced by unit positive charge moving with unit velocity perpendicular to the field, and magnetic intensity H vector is the capability of the magnetic field to magnetize a material. Right. So in the next lecture we will study the Biot-Savart law. Thank you.